Good morning, North Road. Let's put our hands together this morning. Sing praise to our unstoppable God. Sing. Heaven thundered and the world was born. Life begins and ends in the dust you form. Faith commanded and the mountains moved. Fear is losing ground to our hope in you. Here we go. Let's sing it loud. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, they shall be done. Freedom conquered, all my chains undone. Sin defeated, Jesus has overcome. Mercy triumphed when the third day dawned. Darkness was denied when the storm was gone. Let's take it for that. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, they shall be done. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, they shall be done. Nothing is impossible. Sing this to him. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Shout his praise right now. Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable. We'll shout your praise forevermore. Jesus, our God, unstoppable. Sing it to me right now. Unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. Impossible things in your name, up his name right now. Sing.
Jesus, your name be high and lifted up in all the earth, in all the earth. You are my all in all. You are my life, you are my love, you are my reason. You are my hope, you are my joy, you are my passion, my all in all. Jesus, my all in all, my all in all. You are my all, Jesus, my all in
Sorrows, Lamb of God, by his own betrayed, sin of men and wrath of God has been on Jesus' silent as he stood accused, beaten, mocked, and scorned, bowing to the Father's will, he took a crown of thorns. Oh, that rugged cross, my salvation, where your love poured out over me. And now my soul cries out, hallelujah, praise and honor unto thee. Saint of heaven, God's own Son, to purchase and redeem, reconcile the very ones who nailed him to that tree. Oh, that rugged cross, my salvation, where your love poured out over me, sister. And now my soul cries out, hallelujah, praise and honor unto thee. Now my debt is paid, it is paid in full by the precious blood that my Jesus spilled. Now the curse of sin has no hold on me, whom the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed.
Now my debt is paid, it is paid in full by the
worshiping this morning by receiving our offering. And if you're a guest with us today, here's what we would ask of you. As our guys come forward, we're going to ask you to take a little bit of a bold step. And as they come by, they're going to have some visitor cards in their hands. And so we're just going to ask you to put your hand up real quick. We'll get you a card. You can fill it out. And then we will have people at the doors on your way out that you can just hand it to. We just want to take that. We're gonna call you, and we just want to set up a time to grab some coffee or grab some lunch. You know, as this church gets bigger and bigger, the only way that it's going to feel small is by relationship, and that is the core of who we are at North Road. And so we want to take some first steps in just building that relationship. You know, as we go into the new year, people talk about new things, right? We're starting a message today titled "The New Thing." The song that we just sang, I love. And there's a part in the song where it says, that rugged cross, my salvation, right? And what you have to understand is for a long time, the cross was a symbol of death, right? It was this awful thing that when people saw it, all they thought about was death until Jesus came into the picture, right? Because he has this unique ability to take the things that the world means for bad and use it for good. And as we last 365 days, probably filled with trials, probably filled with struggles, with doubts, with worries, with frustrations, with heartbreak. Now think about the cross, right? When people saw that, they thought about death. When you look at your past year, what do you think about? You know, if our perspective can change just a little bit, how we look at what's happened over this last year, and look at the way that God can use it the same way that he used a symbol of death to bring life. He can use the past year to do incredible things if our perspective will change and we'll just submit to him. And we'll begin walking in obedience, following him, little step of faith after little step of faith after little step of faith. And we'll begin to see that just like he used the cross to bring life, he can use hurts and struggles and trials and heartbreak to bring joy and peace and redemption. And so as we start this new thing, I just want to take a minute and I just want to pray. Number one, I want to pray for this past year because I know there's been a lot of heartbreak in this church. There's been a lot of struggle. There have been things that have happened that are just awful. But then I want to pray for hope because I know the Jesus that I love. I know the Jesus that we serve. And I know that just like the cross, he can use this past year to bring incredible hope and incredible peace and incredible redemption in the life of every person who will just submit to him. Would you guys pray with me? Father, we are so thankful, God, that we made it to today. God, that no matter what happened over this last year, that God, our perspective would be that you are still in control. God, we thank you that you love us despite the bad choices we make, the things that we do, the things that we say, the ways that we fall short. God, we thank you for the way that your hand is in our life and the way that you show yourself true over and over and over again. God, we thank you for using the cross, a symbol of death, to bring life. God, that when the world thought that they won, it was the beginning of their defeat. God, I pray for every person in this room. God, I know that there's heartbreak all over the place. I know that there are people that are sitting in this room desperately begging and pleading for a different 2018 than the year they just endured. God, I pray that they would understand that if their perspective changes just a little bit and they understand who you are and what you're capable of, this next year can be different. God, that they would understand that you can use what's happened over this past year and work despite it. God, and use some of it for good. God, I pray that in these next few moments, you would begin working in our hearts in a way that our perspective can't help but be changed. That, God, we look at this past year and we understand that things happened. But, God, we also understand that through you in this next year, you can work in ways we never imagined. God, heal broken hearts. Redeem lost lives. God, change our perspective so that we can begin a new thing in you. God, it's in your name we pray. Amen.
So things haven't turned out as you hoped. Life took a turn. A bump. A darkened sky. And at times it may have seemed there was no hope. But here's the good news. Our God is the God of fresh starts. Our God is the God of new beginnings. Our God brings new mercies, new compassions, not just once a year, not just when things are bad, but every single morning. This season has been tough. And for many of us, things will never be the same. But we are here, breathing, maybe smiling, or crying, or shouting, or laughing. But we are here, feeling, maybe fighting, or cheering, or seeking, or grieving, but we are here, living. And we are not alone. Our God is here. Our God is with us. And our God is the God of new creations.
Well, good morning. How's everybody doing? It is good to see you guys. We are constantly making adjustments around here. We are in the middle of construction mode. So if you have some things that kind of hit you because we're in construction mode, we're really sorry. We came in yesterday at 3 p.m. and found the heating system was broken on the right side of the church and that the children's area is 33 degrees. And we thought, we don't want to turn your kids into a popsicle. So if you're sitting with your third grader, I'm sorry today. That will not happen again. We got to fix it. But it's just part of the whole process around here. I know some of you guys who were like, man, the music was loud last week. I hope it's a little bit better this week. It takes time for us to figure all this stuff out. It's just going to take some moments as we kind of work with the bugs. But isn't it nice to have a little bit more space? I mean, come on, right? So we have some people in the room that, and I don't want to point out every single person. I couldn't point out every single person. We've had so many people work. But, I mean, if you guys could just know that some of the people in this room that have saved us thousands of dollars on paint or thousands of dollars on carpet, or we have a guy in our church that's a heating and cooling guy, and him alone like saved us like $150,000 on how much heating and cooling would have cost next to the next bid. I mean, just some of the things that are going on are just really incredible. And if you've been a part of that, man, you are crucial to the success here, and we're just so thankful for you guys, and I just don't want that to go unnoticed. Y'all ready for a new year? Are you? I don't know that I am. Just being honest with you, 2018, oh my gosh, that's old. You guys remember when we were going to party like it's 1999? Oh my gosh. I mean, Prince was hot. It was like, what the heck? And now, party like 21 years ago? I mean, come on, that's great. Well, that isn't 21. What is that? I'm not good at math. That's 1999. That'd be 19 years ago. All right? But anyway, you know, here we go, man. Whether we want to or not, we are heading into 2018. Here we go. And I got a question for you. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Do you think you're ready? Do you know you're ready? How do you know you're ready? It was 2008 of July, and I was heading to a movie. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I go to a movie, my friends will attest two things. I don't go at 9 o'clock at night, because if I do, everyone in the theater will hear me snore. Am I right, Chris Gardner? I just fall asleep immediately. My kids don't even want to go to movies with me at night. It's a nightmare. I just fall asleep the moment it starts. And I don't care how good the movie is, I will fall asleep. Second thing, I love to go to movies by myself. Anybody else love to go to movies by yourself? You do? You go by yourself, you're like 3. No. But I love to go to movies by myself. I am not a huge people person sometimes when I'm on my downtime. I talk to people all the time. And so it's not that I don't have friends. If you see me at the movie by myself, it's that I like to sit there by myself and not really talk to anybody. I don't want somebody in my ear going, oh, dude, this is what's going to happen. I don't like that. I just want to sit there and eat my popcorn and just kind of forget who I am for about 2 hours and watch a movie, right? So here I am. I'm in Dallas, Texas. It's 2008, and I'm watching The Dark Knight Rises, one of my favorite movies. It's got the Joker, and it was such a good flick, right? And God has this way of every area of my life turning something into a God 101 lesson, right? And it was no different on this day. This scene comes up in The Dark Knight where Harvey Dent is in the hospital and he's talking to the Joker, and the Joker makes a statement, and it's like when it happened, God stopped me in my tracks, and literally 10 years later, I think about this, I quote it all the time. It had a really huge, indelible impact on my life spiritually, believe it or not, and I want to show it to you. It lasts like 20 seconds, but this is what it was.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. I just do things.
I want you to kick that a little higher because they've got to hear that. Play it one more time for us and show it again. I just don't want you to miss this because this is the crux of what I'm talking about. This was huge in my life. I want it to be huge in yours. Listen to this.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. I just do things.
And that was a huge moment in my life, believe it or not. Because as I'm sitting in this movie theater in the middle of Dallas, Texas, this scene comes up, and God asks me this question. Matt, do you live your life like a Christian Joker? Are you like a dog chasing cars when it comes to purpose? Do you just find yourself doing things? It's a heavy question, isn't it? I mean, think about yourself for a moment. How do you live your life? Do you just kind of go from thing to thing and try to get by and not have any real intentional purpose? Is there something guiding your life behind you? Or are you just trying to get to the next step in the line and man, if I can succeed, great, and if I don't, well, I'll try again next time. And you don't really know what you just do things. Me too. In some areas of my life, that's how I am. There are some areas of my life, guys, that I'm so intentional about, that I am so just want to be right on, spot on, just do things exactly right. And then there's areas of my life that are just not so easy. How about you? There are hard areas of my life, areas that I'm not ready to change, or I don't know how to change, or I don't want to change, or that I enjoy too much. And I go, oh, you know what? Maybe next year, right now, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm not going to worry about this, and I'll just get by, and I'll just do things, and it will be okay. That's Matt Bardick. Is it you? You see, here's the thing that God really spoke to me that day and has been speaking to me every single day since, is Matt Bardick, your life is too crucial. The moments that you have on this earth are too crucial for you just to do things, just to get by, just to chase cars. Man, what you are doing in your life has so much meaning, and it has to matter every second. That's not something I need to stress about and fret about and have anxiety about, but I have to know who's leading my life and who's not. And so let me ask you a question. Let's just get really real for a moment. Who leads your life? You or God? Are you a dog chasing cars? You just do things? Or does God have a plan for you and you are living out that plan? You know what's coming up? January 1, 2018. And you know what's going to come out of that? New Year's resolutions. Anybody got one? You know what the statistics say about our country? 50% of the people that live in our country are going to make a New Year's resolution. You ready for the bad news? 75% of the people who make a New Year's resolution will no longer have that resolution intact by Valentine's Day. By Valentine's Day. Can I tell you something? Why? Because they're just going to go about their life doing things. And I'm here to tell you, your life is too crucial. Your role as a dad is too crucial just to do things. Your role as a mother is too crucial just to do things. Your role as a husband or a wife is too crucial just to do things. Your role as a person who is the light of Jesus to someone else is too crucial just for you to do things and go through the motions and chase cars. God has created you for so much more. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to show you today that it's incredibly dangerous just to do things. God has a plan for your life. And how do we ensure that God is going to make that plan happen? That's what I want to look at with you today. point one, how are we going to make that plan happen? You ready? This is Galatians 5:16. Can you pull it up? The first way that I'm going to make that plan happen is that I'm not going to be Matt-led, I'm going to be Spirit-led. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Let's just get it out on the table right now. Are you led by the Spirit of God in your choices? Or are you led by you and your choices? Who's the CEO of your life? Look at this verse. But I say, walk by the Spirit. Who's the Spirit? The Holy Spirit that comes into your life and guides you and directs you. But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. You will not destroy your life, okay, if you walk by the Spirit. Imagine I worked at the Ford dealership down the street, okay? And if I worked at the Ford dealership down the street, imagine that I was just one of the salesmen, and I came in the new year and I said, you know what? We've got to make some money around here. So every Ford Fusion that is on the lot, we're no longer going to sell at sticker price. We're going to sell them at $7,500 a piece. And everybody around town got the word, man, there's $7,500 Fusions up there, brand new, oh my gosh. And they came in and they just bought the whole thing. And then my boss came in. What would happen? He would fire me. Why? Because I destroyed the business plan of the entire company. I probably would put him out of business for selling cars way under cost that he couldn't afford, right? And yet that is what you do every single day with your life. When God has a plan for it and you go your own way. Think about it. God says, hey, Matt, I want you to do this, and this would make you a better person. And Matt, this would fulfill your life, and this would reach the dreams that I have for you. And you go, oh, I know, God, but I'm just good right now. I'm just going to do things. What a dangerous place to be. Proverbs 28:19 says this. Look at this real quick. 29:18. I've had those backwards all day long. Where there is no prophetic vision, the people will do what? Cast off restraint. They will not make it to the finish line. What is prophetic vision? Prophetic vision means this, that a prophet would come out and give them a word that would change their life. It was straight from God. Guess what? We don't have prophets everywhere anymore, but we got a Bible that we can open up and we can read, and we got a God that we can talk to, and we can ask him what his next step is for our life. And if we do that, as that verse said, we will not cast off restraint. Some of you guys, you know in your hearts, by February, you're probably not going to have your New Year's resolution anymore. That it's going to be gone. You know why? Because you're not allowing God to write your resolutions. When was the last time, just asking, when was the last time you sat down and you went, God, I don't want to do anything this year without your permission. What do you want to do in my life, God? What do you want to change? What do you want to implement? God, I don't want to buy anything without your permission. God, I don't want to do anything without I don't want to raise my kids without your permission. I don't want to take a job. I don't want to send my kids to a school unless, God, you say that I need to. How many of you would say, honestly, that you live your life like that? Because if you say the opposite, here's what you're saying. I live my life without prophetic vision. I live my life without God's input. And people who live their life without God's input cast off restraint. They do not reach their goals. They find themselves at destruction. And some of you, because every time a big decision comes up, you just make the decision, you found yourself in those very destructive places. Wondering how you got there and how you're going to get out. Man, if I'm going to ensure that God is going to change my life, I got to say, hey, Jesus, what do you want in 2018 for my life? And then I got to let him show me. And when he shows me, he's going to begin what's called a transformation process. Look at this verse in Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed any longer to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When I was a kid, all right, I am 43 years old. I would come home every afternoon from school, and I would watch He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Anybody else in this room that did that? Right? And what would I had the Castle Grayskull. I had a Skeletor doll, like the little human, the little Masters of the Universe figure. I had a He-Man, and I'd go in my room, and they'd box and fight. And what would happen? Anybody remember this? He-Man would get up in the middle when he wanted to transform, right? He'd put his sword in the air. Does anybody else remember? Am I the only dork in the room? He would put his sword in the air, and he would go, by the power of Grayskull. You guys remember this? I have the power. And all of a sudden he would transform. I think sometimes in our life, that's how we see transformation. It's like this instantaneous movement in our life that makes us forever different. Oh, I think I'm just not going to drink anymore. I think I'm just not going to cuss anymore. I think I'm just not going to lack integrity anymore. I think I'm just going to change my finances. I'm going to change my da-da-da. No, you're not. No, you're not. Transformation is a process that happens over time when God is at the forefront of it and his word is in the middle of it and prayer is in the middle of it and accountability happens. Then look what happens. Go back to that verse for me. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed as your mind renews. It's a process. Some of you, you're going home to make your New Year's resolution. You're like, okay, I need to change my weight, and I need to change my exercise, and I need to get a different job, and you got like 20 of them, right? When have you ever known God to transform 20 things in your life in a year? I've never been there, never had that happen. But here's what I know, that if I let the power of God speak to my mind and go, Matt, here's what I want, and I listen to him, and I hear him, and I want to do what he wants, then watch this. What if in 2018, I just accomplished one thing? And then what if in 2019, God reveals something else? And then what if in 2020, he introduces something else? Man, when I was 20 years old, you would not have wanted me as your pastor. I was reckless. You may not want me now. I was reckless. I was a bull in a china shop. If you think I'd say anything I think now, you should have known me at 20, right? I had an ego problem. I thought I had it all figured out. I alienated people. I would leave people in my wake if they got in my way. And God began to slowly chip the edges, year by year by year by year. I didn't put a sword in the air and go, by the power of the Bardic house, I'm different. It didn't happen. God had to transform me. And my challenge to you is this. What if you bowed your head in the next day or two, or maybe today, or maybe you already know because he's just been hammering at you and ratcheting down on this one area. And what if you said, God, if I was going to be different in 2018, what is the one thing that needs to go away? Maybe you need to stop lying. Maybe you need to stop being so angry. Maybe you need to stop lacking integrity in your finances. Maybe you need to save more. Maybe you need to lose more weight. Maybe you need to find yourself not getting angry in front of your kids. Maybe you need to save your marriage. Put down the bottle. Stop doing drugs. Who knows what your issue is? God knows it. And if you ask him, he will begin to reveal it to you, and the transformation process will start. And that is a resolution that lasts, not a resolution that lasts till February 15th. Final thing I want to show you is in 1 Peter. Probably the most deafening thing I'm going to say to you today. You ready? 1 Peter 5:8 says this. If I'm going to make change, here's what I have to do. I have to be sober-minded. I have to be watchful. Because my adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Hear that word, devour. Look at this word in Hosea real quick. I want you just to see the very first part of it. My people are destroyed for what? A lack of knowledge, or because they have rejected knowledge, right? Now watch this. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. What destroys you? Come on. A lack of knowledge. What is the knowledge that you need? It is the word from God about what needs to change in your life. If you choose to continue to do things your way, you will be, what's that word? Destroyed. Here's what I don't understand about people, and here's what God has been speaking so loudly to me. What I sometimes don't understand about myself. If you catch one thing, catch this. You ready? You don't know the expiration date on your luck. You don't know the expiration date on your health. You don't know the expiration date on your life. And what we do when we say, hey, I just do things, you are playing Russian roulette with you. Let me tell you what I mean by that. God's been speaking to me a lot. He's been really convicting me because you know what? When I came here 5 years ago, I weighed 257 pounds, which for me is really good. If I get to 230, I start looking like you need to put me on a box and feed the hungry thing. You know, I just look really skinny. It's not good for me, okay? But I don't weigh 257 pounds anymore. I weigh 291 pounds. Why? Because I sit with you people all the time, and we have breakfast, and we talk, and we hang out, and we have coffee, and I sit some more, and I sit some more, and then I stress about how are we going to get all this built, and how are we going to pay for it, and all these things happen, and I just gain weight. I'm a balloon, right? I just am, let's be honest. And here's what I know. You ready? That I need to be sober-minded and watchful, because if I'm not, it will kill me. I don't know when the next Big Mac will cause a heart attack. You don't know when the next drink will turn you into a straight-up alcoholic. Some of you have no idea that the next piece of porn that you look at could create an addiction in your life that will last forever, that you'll never be able to get away from because of your personality. Some of you are on the verge of texting someone that you find attractive, and you don't know that that one text could be the one text that will ruin your marriage. Some of you, you're ready to take huge steps in life that you know are wrong, and you're doing them anyway, and you don't know that it could be the one step that could be crushingly destructive to your life. You see, here's what we don't think about. We're like James. The book of James says this. Look at this, what it says. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we'll go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Here's what we do. Hold it right there. This is what we do in 2018. We go, man, I got all these goals, and here's what I'm going to do. And we get to February, and we go, oh, I missed them. Shoot, I'll do it in 2019. Bull. Look what the next verse says. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? You are but a mist that appears for a little time, and then you vanish. Why would we play Russian roulette with the plan that God has given for our life? Can I tell you, your life is too crucial. My wife and I have 5 kids. If I go eat Big Macs that give me a heart attack, I leave my wife without 5 kids, and then she dies because she can't handle 5 kids on her own. Nobody can handle those 5 kids on her own, right? So I've got to make the crucial choices in my life that are going to change me. Now watch this, though. If I get a word from God, which God has really been speaking to me, dude, fix your health. And I fixed my health in 2018. And I find better balance in 2019. And I become a better, more humble leader in 2020. And I become a better father in the ways that I feel like I need to be for my littles. The little boys, not the older ones. But I become a better father for them in 2021, and in 2022, maybe God takes away some of the character flaws in my life that need to change. You know what you have in 5 years because I listened to God? You have a better pastor, better father, and a better husband. What do you want with life? You want to chase cars for the next 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 6 months? 2 days, because you don't know? Or do you really want to get everything that God gave you to have in this world? You see, here's the deal. We see the Bible and we go, oh man, this is just a bunch of rules that hold me back. No, it's not. It's a book of freedoms that stop you from making dumb mistakes that will ruin your life. What if, like me, you said, hey, God, I'm going to really get on my knees and I'm going to say, hey, God, what do you want to change in my life? Number one. What if you, like me, said, I'm going to put people in my life that are going to challenge me in the area that needs to change? I'm going to ask those people to challenge me, and I'm going to give them freedom to speak truth at me. Can I tell you something? You all have freedom to speak truth to me in 8 weeks. Don't come to me next week. I might punch you. But I'm just kidding. But in 8 weeks, if I'm still fat, you come to me and you go, dude, you're still fat. Doug Wagner, you'll do that anyway, so wherever you are, you don't have permission. But you need people in your life to speak truth to you. You need people to come up and go, dude, you got 5 kids. This is serious. Tomorrow could be the last day. You need to get your junk figured out. Because those encouragements are what keep us sober-minded and watchful, knowing that the devil is prowling around and wants to eat us. And then here's the other thing, guys, and this is the last thing I'm going to say. Be okay with the fact of who you are right now. God has a plan. It's okay to be where you are. It's not okay to stay where you are because you're just a dog chasing cars. Be ready to be transformed by God. Be okay with it. Be amicable to it and say, God, whatever you want, you start to carve and chisel and mold. I need you to do something in my life. Will you do me a favor? Will you bow your head and close your eyes? You may be sitting in here right now, and you may say to me, hey, Matt, there has never been a time when I've given my life to Jesus. Let me say this as clearly as I can say it. You sit in the most dangerous seat in this room because you don't have a relationship with the one God that can save you for all of eternity. And you're playing Russian roulette with time because you don't know how much time you have. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to sober you up to go, man, it is time to figure out who you are in Jesus. And if you're sitting here right now and you say, I do not have a relationship with God and I need one, you don't have to understand everything right now. Here's all I want you to do. Raise your hand. Matt, I need Jesus. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it looks like. I know I need him. And I know I want him in my life. And here's what we're going to do. Me and you are going to sit down and we're just going to talk. So just raise your hand. Matt, I need a relationship with Jesus in my life. Just raise it up. Okay. Thank you for your honesty, your boldness. If you have your hand, would you leave it up for just a second? And the guys in the back are going to grab a visitor card for you. Chris, would you do that for me? Or Sean, he's coming in. And he's going to give you a card. And all I want you to do is write your name and your phone number on it. And we're literally just going to sit down and have something to drink and talk about what it means to know Jesus. You can put them back down. If you're sitting in here right now and you can relate to me, there is something in your life that God needs to change, and you are on the edge of disaster. And it's time to get sober-minded, and you know that your next movement, your next choice, your next drink, your next step could be your destruction, and it scares you, and you're ready to make that change with God. I just want you to humbly lift your hand to heaven and say, God, I need to make that change right now. Don't wait. Just humbly lift it up. Don't look and see if other people are. Just be you. You know if God's speaking to you. And if he is, humbly lift that hand to heaven. I see him coming up all over the place. I'll give you a second. Jesus, I lift up these humble hands that are lifted to you. And I ask Jesus in your name that you would help them to understand that through you, they can find resolution. They can find resolve for the things that need to change in their life. But God, it's going to take accountability. It's going to take them in the Word. It's going to take them praying. It's going to take them humbling themselves and asking you what you want and dealing with what's hard, not with what's easy. God, would you give them the boldness and the courage to walk that path? In your name I pray. Amen. Let's stand. Let's sing.
Jesus Christ, no shadow remains for shame to hide. Redemption shown for all to see, perfection bore our penalty with a grace so glorious. Immortal day, torn when mercy donned a crown of thorns, as law gave way to liberty and freedom for humanity with a grace so glorious. And crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord. Triumphant praises without end. Hailing the King of righteousness. And every eye beholds the one our hearts were undeserving of, with a grace so glorious. And the glory of the Savior's love, surrounding our surrender, to know that ever we are welcomed home. Sing it so. Crowned in glory to glory, worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, yeah. Oh, wondrous day when I will see the face of Him who ransomed me. I'll fall and worship at His feet and rise to reign eternally in a grace so glorious. Oh, in a grace so glorious. Yeah. Crowned in glory to glory, worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, crowned in glory to glory. Worthy is the Lord of all the glory forever. Holy is the Lord, yeah.
Some of you are sitting in here and you're going, well, how do I do this? It's really simple. You're going to go home and you're going to sit down on your couch by yourself or in your private place and you're going to say, hey, God, what needs to change about my life? Maybe you already know. You can skip plan A, right? But I would encourage you to confirm that with God. God, what is it in 2018 in my life that needs to change? God, start that transformation process. Man, for me, it's going to mean me taking my Bible and finding every verse I can find about how I need to have a healthy temple. For me, it's going to be about, hey, what is most important in my life? What does God say about a father and his legacy that he leaves? I need to remember those things because those things are going to be what drive me to make this change in my life, right? You need to find those verses for yours as well. You need to find some people in your life, like I just found this morning, but I'm going to find other people too that are going to hold me accountable and say, hey, Bartek, you can't quit on this race. You've got to find those people. I want to encourage you, if you want to find those people, here in the next couple of weeks, Celebrate Recovery on Friday nights. If you have a habit, a hurt, or a hang up, you can go there and they will stand there and they will hold you accountable and they will love you. And you need to give that a shot. It's not just for people who have a drug addiction or an alcohol problem. There's other things in your life that you may be dealing with that you can take there, and there are people that will meet you there. You just need accountability. You can get in a spot group. And I would encourage you to go in awkwardly the first week and go, hey, my name's Matt. I really need some help, right? And get those people around you that will hold you accountable. And then you just need to give it to God and realize you cannot do this. You can't lift your sword and go by the power of the Bardic house. It ain't going to happen. It's by the power of Jesus Christ and you submitting to that power that you will find resolution in 2018. Man, I'm praying for you. Be praying for me. Next week, we start a series called Limitless, which is going to go hand in hand with this, which talks about the limitless power of God and how his power was limitless in so many people's lives, and it can be limitless in yours if you know how to find it. So guys, as you go this week, if you know somebody that needs a church, tell them about North Road. And let's help them find what God has shown us. Have an awesome week. See you next one at North Road.